Hello and welcome to the Luz and Dolly show. I'm Luz.
And I am Dolly.
And today we are speaking of anger. It's a topic that makes a few of us very on edge, I guess, or in thought. Dolly, for some reason today, has been a little off. What's going on, Dolly?
This is an interesting topic. Well, I think there's so many people that are affected by anger.
Mm-hmm.
I personally have been affected by anger. I know we have, that it's a very sensitive topic. So, so I'm just, I don't know. I guess I'm a little cautious.
Okay. And I don't mean to laugh, so I apologize. I don't mean to laugh about the situation.
No,
but
not at all.
She has been different this morning. So I'm thankful. I'm grateful to you for being open to
Yes, of course.
sharing, because it's important that we address certain emotions and situations that we have, especially if something within you is making you either cautious or a little different or reserved. That means that there's a reason for this to come out to light and for you to work on it. Not just you, I just mean in general. So thank you, really. I'm really grateful for that.
No, of course, of course.
As I was doing some research, I was very shocked. I've always been a very calm, easygoing type of person. I don't allow individuals, as best as I can, to affect me and to make me angry or a person that I don't like to be. But when I was doing this research, Dolly, it was very interesting that when I read and I heard some things, it really shocked me. It said that anger is a good emotion to have.
I've always believed that anger is a good emotion. And I know that you initially did not agree with that.
Not at all.
Because, sometimes I will get, I'm human and I do react to certain things. And when I feel, not comfortable with something, when something upsets me, I will react. So I know that you had mentioned, on occasion, about, why you getting upset, why you angry,
why you react that way.
And for me, the fact that it is a good emotion is because, I rather let it out. I'd rather release it. I'd rather get it out of my system than to let it build in, because I used to be that way before. I used to let it build in and just continue to suppress my emotions.
It builds up.
And it continues to build up. So I'm at a stage in my life where I feel it is necessary to, to say how you feel. And so if it comes out as anger, then let it be,
See, and I believe in what you're saying regarding letting it out. To me, I guess it's just important for us to be the best person we can be. So if we're letting it out in a harsh, mean, rude way, that does something within us.
It does.
And with the other person.
Sometimes, and I speak from experience, sometimes, it's a reaction, and it's not, you may be able to control part of that reaction, like instead of, tearing a room apart, you just hold back and you listen, but it doesn't mean that it's not affecting you, that it's not upsetting you. And then you're not reacting to that. Maybe even my reaction, like for example, I believe I mentioned last week that those that know me can easily read me. If I'm upset, you will see it in my face. If I'm happy, you will see it. If I'm, whatever emotion I may be having at the moment, I'm clear as a book, I'm just like, you could very much read me.
And I get that, because I am the majority of the time a very happy, loving person. If someone is attacking me or trying to hurt me, of course I'm not going to be, hee. No, of course. So I too do it, just in a different degree.
Right.
But what surprised me regarding that anger is a necessary and very useful emotion was, I looked up the definition. It says, anger is an emotional response that arises from the fear of being threatened. So again, anger is an emotional response that arises from the fear of being threatened. So obviously you're thinking or feeling or assuming that you're being threatened, that your life is in danger. So I was telling you that I was listening to one of these things that I was getting together for the research. And I was expressing or sharing with Dolly a very good example of a man that is being held at gunpoint and being asked for his wallet. Give me your wallet.
Right.
Of course, you're going to be angry at that individual for taking your money, for putting a gun to your head.
And you're going to be terrified.
Yes.
And
fearful,
that's the thing.
angry, hurt. But what was the second part of that? The fact that, imagine that same scenario, but the person with the gun comes to you, puts a gun to your head and says, I'm so sorry that I have this gun pointed at your head, but my child is in need of bandages for a cut that he has and I cannot afford it. I'm so sorry to do this, but I need your wallet. I need the money. Same situation. He still had a gun pointed at you. He still took your money, but he shared with you something.
Well, there was an explanation. He personalized why he was doing what he was doing.
But
in this
the action
example.
was still the same.
The action was still the same.
Yeah.
I
So
completely
the
understand
emotion that we hold or the thought that we give and the emotion and the value that we give to that situation, I think, is what's more significant than the actual act that the other person does.
And see, I find that very interesting because I agree. It is about the value that you give that, how much emphasis you
Yes.
put on what is taking place. I just think, for me personally, anger is derived from hurt.
Okay.
It's from the hurt. So if someone is, if you're doing something to intentionally hurt me, yes, I'm going to get very angry because it's intentional. It's malicious. You know? If you're doing something to me that you don't even realize, and, you know, I may be more hurt. I may get a little upset, but I'm not going to react the same because I just feel you're getting me upset, but I don't think, you know, especially depends who the person is, but I don't think you realize you're doing this to me. So, you know, for a second I may get upset, but I'll still give you a little benefit of the doubt. Does that make sense?
It does. I guess it's very interesting and different for me because of how I handle those situations. There's been thoughts and comments, you know, that we've experienced in these past almost 2 years that we've been friends. And to me, it's like I consider where it came from, who said it. I consider, is it a true comment or rumor?
Right.
And then if it isn't, to me, I just let it go.
Right.
I know that's a little bit more difficult for you, right?
Because it's
to do.
malicious. When if someone is intentionally malicious,
But that's on them.
I understand that,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
if someone is dragging my name, or my reputation, or trying to taint it, or trying to hurt me, whether it be physically or emotionally, absolutely I'm going to react. I've always felt
that's where we disagree.
You know, I've always felt
Yeah.
that I'm a protector, and you know, one, I have to protect myself, but two, if your name is being dragged along with it, I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, you know. And for me, it's like,
Right.
you're my best friend, you're my sister, and
Yeah.
I'm not going to tolerate that. I'm just
Okay.
not.
But what is it that we mentioned? Well, many things we mentioned at the last segment. But one of the phrases that was brought up was, "Live your life as such that if someone spoke badly of you, no one would believe it." So I really take that to heart because whatever is said that upsets us or disappoints us or gets us angry, it's like, really? Someone would say that of you? Nah. That.
I know, and I totally get that.
Yeah, and that is what I base it on. But anyway,
Yeah.
I mean, I appreciate you sharing that. But there were, it says, these 3 points are so deep.
Please.
It says, what do I feel so threatened by? When you get angry, if you can take yourself to that point of, what do I feel so threatened by? And then ask yourself these next 3 questions or sit with it. What about that hurt me so bad? What about that situation hurt me so bad? To ask yourself and feel that. The second thing is, what am I really afraid of in this situation? And the last one is, what need do I have in this situation that is not getting met? So whether someone is yelling at you or throwing your name around or questioning you, if you get so angry with them, I'm not saying you, but in general, if you get so angry that you go into a room and you throw things or call someone and start yelling and profanity, or you're driving and someone cuts you off and you hit the steering wheel, or you're being late and the light turns red, and anger, because there's a lot of people that I've driven with that little things like that flare them up.
I think that's a little different.
Okay.
Personally, I think it really depends on the situation, in my opinion.
It's still anger, but
Yeah, I think it really depends on the situation, because if someone is threatening you, you mentioned the example of the gun, that's one thing. But if someone is cutting me off, that's another. I'll be honest. I'll be like, what the heck? I mean, like,
see,
what
but
happened there?
it's still anger, and it still does something to your body.
Right, it does,
Yeah.
but I know that I have, and I'm the nicest person that can be. I'm a sweetheart. Trust me, I am. But I can be at the point.
And you've been one of
that
those, yes. You've
I
been one
can
of those
be.
individuals.
Yeah.
So my thing is, obviously, we know that it exists. Primarily. Secondarily, we know that, if you're happy, or if you, the person that's listening, is happy being that way, then that's great. You're never going to change. But should you want to change that and not be as angry because the people, your loved ones that you're speaking with or living with or acting and what do you call it? Communing with is not pleasant for them, and you wish to change, I challenge you. I challenge you to sit with it and to do something different. For instance,
I?
we're driving. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
I like this piece. I wanted to make sure that we did talk a little bit about some of the coping mechanisms for dealing with anger.
Yes.
I know that when I have gotten, upset, angry, whatever, I will now I will go to my room. I will, I send myself to my room. I go to my room and I turn on a candle, or I just, I listen to meditation. I try to bring myself down so that I can relax. I try to breathe a little slower. I try to get away from it. Before I would be, I would let it take over me.
Good for you.
And
I've noticed the huge change, and I think that's powerful.
yeah, thank you.
Very,
No, it's
very
it's an
powerful.
intentional
Yes.
change. It's
Yes.
I don't like that. I don't like that side of me. I don't like that that I can explode.
And it's because it builds up, and then any little thing, even though it isn't a big deal, whatever the situation might have been,
Right.
it gets blown out of proportion because of us leaving that inside and not addressing it. So first, be authentic and share immediately. When someone does something to you that doesn't feel right, share immediately. Say, I'm so sorry, this is difficult for me to share with you, but what you said or did really did not sit well. Wow, that makes such a big
And
difference.
we had that conversation yesterday.
We
You
do.
shared something with me.
We do.
I was not comfortable with that piece of the conversation.
And you quickly said it, and that's important. So what I wanted to do, if that's okay, because
Of
we're
course.
running out of time. I know each and every one of us has anger situations, some more severe than others. But if you think, for instance, when we were talking about driving and someone cuts you off, take a deep breath, and at that point in time, instead of yelling and saying, hey, whatever profanity comes out, take a deep breath and hold that steering wheel and say thank you, thank you, thank you to God and the universe or the angels, because perhaps 1 or 2 blocks ahead, something else was going to happen. Stopped you from doing that. What I always do is blessings to you, and angels surround you all the time. And it becomes a habit, whatever it is that might make you feel good at that point in time. But just so that you change that. Because if nothing changes, nothing changes.
I give you that. I give you
Yeah.
that.
So as I was doing the research, there's a lot of other things you can do. Take a pen and write down your anger. Create art. Scream into a pillow. I thought that was so strange, but of course not all of us have a single family home, or you don't want your kid or your husband in the other room to hear you screaming in
They'll
the
be
room.
like, what's wrong? Yeah.
So there's a lot of things. Just use your resources and look it up. throwing rocks, punching bags, wrestling, dancing, stretching,
Exercising.
whatever.
Exercising is huge.
That is huge.
Burning
yeah.
that energy.
But
Yeah.
anyway, we can speak of this many more segments. But thank you so much for allowing yourself
My
this time and
pleasure.
space.
My pleasure. I appreciate
Yeah.
this topic. I appreciate
Yeah.
the fact that we could be so open with
It's
not only with each
necessary.
other but also
the
with the
audience.
public. We want to make sure that we're real, we're genuine. This is
Yeah.
what
This is what it
you
is.
see is what you get, and
Yes.
we're not trying to hide from that.
No,
I
not at
did want to
all.
make one quick comment. Thank you, Luz. I wanted to update all of you because my dear Luz, last week we talked about integrity and we talked
And
about
my
her
punctuality.
time and her punctuality and how it was affecting her, and she has done leaps and bounds to always be on time this week. So I am
thank
grateful
you.
to you. I appreciate
Thank
you.
you.
She has done a fantastic job. But I just wanted to share that with you. Everyone, you have a beautiful and blessed day.
Thank
We are
you.
so grateful that you have joined us.
No. Thank you so much.
Blessings to
Besitos.
you.